today to the dedication of the Purple Heart parking spaces at Tarleton State University. There are many folks here on campus that have sought to do something to honor veterans. One fraternity over a year ago contacted Veteran Services to see if there was a way to create some kind of special parking for those that have served. Tori Jones, a student currently working in Veteran Services here at Tarleton, has also shown a great deal of interest in finding a way of honoring veterans. This project came to my attention through my good friend, Dr. Del Carmen. He sent me a photograph of a Purple Heart parking space just like we see here today. A city in Ohio designated these spaces like this at City Hall. Dr. Del Carmen said, "Hey Matt, you're in charge of parking. Can you do something like this here?" So a few phone calls to Wounded Warriors Foundation in coordination with the folks here on campus, and well, here we are. Bring remarks about our dedication ceremony. I'd like you to help me welcome Tarleton State University's 15th President, F. Dominic Datavia.
Appreciate that. Good afternoon. Thanks to so many of you for coming out on such a windy and chilly day. This, I think, is certainly an indication of the importance of what it is that we're doing and how much you appreciate those that we're here to honor today, our servicemen, and especially those who have been wounded or killed in action. Let me tell you this, today is particularly meaningful to me because it happens to be it would have been my father's 91st birthday, who received a Purple Heart during World War II on a Fletcher-class destroyer. The back end of his destroyer was hit by a kamikaze pilot, and his gunmate was killed. He was obviously wounded, and the whole back end of the ship from his gun rear was blown off because of that attack. And so to see something like this happen because of the service that men and women have provided over the years really strikes home to me, because today is my father's birthday, as I said, and because of how important that purple medallion was to him throughout the years. I have to say a very special thank you to Matt for the implementation of an idea that was brought forward to him. You know, he has been in charge of parking on this campus for the last couple of years. And obviously that's not an easy thing to do on a university campus, is to be in charge of something like parking. But to take something like this and make it into such a positive is a true act of leadership. And so, Matt, I really want to say thank you for that important piece of work that you've done. Having these spaces is also important to us because at Tarleton, for many years, for most of our history for that matter, we have had a very, very close association with the military. It has been embedded in our traditions. It's part of who we are as a university. And so finding another opportunity to honor those who have served so faithfully for us is something that should be done at a university like this. I'm very proud to know that we are the first university, certainly in the A&M system, if not the entire state of Texas, to have designated spaces like this. This is one of 4 across the campus. Regardless of how much they are used, I think it is a visible symbol of our dedication to our servicemen and another representation of why it is that we are considered a military-friendly campus and a representation of that deep history that we have as a university that honors our veterans. Thank you again so much for coming out today. We appreciate those who have served and certainly hope that this small gesture is an indication of how committed we are to saying thank you for what you've done for us and for this country. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Dr. Datavia. Our next speaker is Colonel Kimmy Wilden. Colonel Wilden is a Commandant of our Corps of Cadets here at Tarleton. He's also retired Air Force. Additionally, you may know him as a Mayor of Stephenville. Let's welcome Colonel Wilden as he gives us a historical perspective of the Purple Heart.
Thanks, Matt, and I want to echo the President's comments about my special thanks to Matt for the initiative and for Dr. Del Carmen in recognizing the significance of this. It's also, I think, noteworthy that today ought to be cold. For the veterans in the crowd and those that are wearing the uniform, discipline is a key part of what makes our servicemen and women so successful. And so it's fitting for us to have a little discipline in this cold weather and stand here in honor of a significant event. It's also, I think, important to recognize what the President's words just stated about his perspective and this university's perspective and his commitment to veterans. That is unusual, and it is an extraordinary and not something to be taken for granted. And I think we all ought to be proud to be here today and a part of that. And so I thank you both for that on behalf of the veterans that are here today, and it is truly special. It's also meaningful for me to have commanded airmen that I saw Purple Hearts pinned on their chest, to know the bravery that they provided for their country. And I was reminded in those times that greater love has no one than this, that they lay down their life for a friend. It's one of the most recognized and respected medals in the United States Armed Forces. And I'll tell you, the medal's plain inscription, which simply reads "for military merit," barely expresses its significance. Exactly, the Purple Heart per regulation is awarded in the name of the President of the United States to any member, enlisted or officer of the Armed Forces of the United States while serving under competent authority in any capacity with one of the United States Armed Forces, has been wounded, killed, or died after being wounded. Now, the Purple Heart was originally called the Badge of Military Merit. And you may not know that it is the oldest military award that our nation has offered. It was developed by none other than General George Washington, who was frustrated at Congress at the time because he was looking to provide some recognition, especially to enlisted in the Continental Army who had risen above their peers and demonstrated courage and meritorious service. And so in 1782 in Newburgh, New York, he issued a general order that read, "It is the general's desire to cherish virtuous ambition in his soldiers. I hereby direct whenever any singularly meritorious action is performed, the author of it shall be permitted to wear on his facings, over the left breast, the figure of a heart in purple cloth or silk, edged with narrow lace or binding." And Washington stated in that order that that award would be issued as a permanent one, but after the Revolutionary War, it fell into non-use. It wasn't until 1918 General John J. Blackjack Pershing reintroduced the idea, and as sometimes time takes, it wasn't until 1932 that General Douglas MacArthur signed into General Order 3 reinstating the Purple Heart. It was noteworthy that the first issuance of those Purple Hearts were to 132 servicemen that had served in World War II on February 22nd, the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington. Today we provide the Purple Heart to veterans who have served and fought and defended our freedoms. They represent the defense of freedom from Lexington and Concord to Baghdad and Kandahar. Freedoms that are not guaranteed. And while those who have suffered and endured hardships worthy of the Purple Heart have given extreme sacrifice, this sacrifice should also be celebrated and held in high regard. Because, see, they have put the needs of our nation ahead of their own. They have suffered loss on our behalf, sacrificed for us. They have done so in order that we can enjoy the freedoms in the blessed nation that we call home, the land of the free and the home of the brave. May God bless all Purple Heart recipients, Tarleton State University, and our great nation. Thank you very much.
Now we're going to have a ceremonial ribbon cutting. So Dr. Tavio, Colonel Wilden, representatives from the DAV, American Legion, VFW, ERAF Veteran Services, Tarleton Veteran Services, and ROTC. Please come up front for group photo ribbon cutting. Yes. The last thing for the day is what gives a parking space without a car in it. So to park his vehicle, this place stays, is a not once, but twice decorated Purple Heart recipient. He's a former Marine and Iraqi veteran. He was first injured in the Battle of Fallujah when a grenade hit him, and then injured in the face while doing a raid. Let's welcome soldier and Tarleton graduate, Jimmy Bell.
Thank you all very much. This is awesome. It really is. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good to see you.
See you again. Yeah.